Hi everybody, how y'all doing today? I don't know how well that's showing up, but it's a little black and a little tan. So we need to look and see what that means exactly. But I'm leaning towards believing that I may need to leave the main jet in there and put the old original emulsion tube back in. Alright, so I took a brass wire brush and cleaned up the spark plug, just knocked the carbon off of it, so next time I look at it I'll be able to tell what it's doing. I took the carburetor off, put the original emulsion tube back in, but put the new 90 main jet back in with it, and we're going to see what that does. Because it ran great with it opened up, but it ran crappy on its low end. Alright, let's fire it up and see how it sounds. Well, I'll tell you, it runs much smoother. It really does. But it lost some of its zip on the wide open end with that stock emulsion tube. So, maybe it's the idle jet that needs enlarged a little bit. It's just one of those things, that's why they call it tuning. Just gonna have to keep playing with it till I find the right combination of things that works and makes me happy. I mean, it runs really sweet right now, but after driving it yesterday with the other emulsion tube in there, I could really tell a difference. It's putting the stock one in there, it's lost some pep. So, back to the drawing board, as they say. Alright, we'll see ya. Alright guys, bye-bye. How you doing? Alright, welcome back. Let me recap on what we've done so far, and because it's been a day or two since I've been out here. I didn't like the stock carburetor performance because I could not open the choke all the way. So I put in a 90 main jet and a 140 emulsion tube, and it ran really good once you got past idle and revved it up a little bit. But at low idle, it wanted to spit and sputter and stuff. So I left the 90 jet in there and put the stock emulsion tube back in it, and it runs perfectly fine, but it doesn't have that extra pick up and go that I found with the 140 emulsion tube, which once I've tasted that, I fell in love with it. You know, it's like more power. And the 140 emulsion tube is stated to give you better torque in the low end and better performance. But actually I found that it actually worked better with it wide open. So at any rate, I don't like the performance with the 90 and the stock, the 90 main jet and the stock emulsion tube. So what I want to do is get that 140 emulsion tube back in there, but I also want to take care of that spitting and sputtering that's going on at the low end. So what I want to do is hog out the idle jet which is the one that's just under your throttle adjustment screw, and I want to open that up to 18 thousandths. And in order to do that, I had to purchase a set of these drill bits, and I found them online at eBay, and these are those micro precision drill bits, and they go from number 62 to number 80, which is, well, very tiny to even tinier. It says, let's see, number 77 is a 18 thousandths. It goes up to a 39 thousandths, and it starts out at a 0.0135, so that's like a 13.5 thousandths, which is even tinier yet. But 25 bucks on eBay, and free shipping. But they also send some cool stuff with it. They sent a sticker from Easy Bore Motorsports. It's a cool little sticker. They also sent this very neat little pamphlet, Hot Rods and Horsepower. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's got all kinds of neat little stories in it. And you may remember this car if you ever saw the movie American Graffiti. That was that, what was his name? Milner, something like that. The guy in the movie was actually the guy that built that car, and they've got an article in this pamphlet about him, and it's just a pretty neat little deal. Some other stuff about a funny car, and a little thing just about hot rods and horsepower. I found the whole thing very interesting. And then they also sell some, they send you a flyer letting you know what other products they carry, which is like what was it, valve grinding tools, and valve seat cutters, hones, cylinder hones, face mill cutters, just things like that. Anyway, they send you a flyer brochure. Anyway, that's not what we're up to here. We need to get that idle jet out of there, put the other motion tube back in it, hog that idle jet out, put it back in and see how it goes. And if all goes well, it's going to be swell. Of course, it's an experiment, so we don't know. But I want to thank H.O. Motorsports for his video and turning me on to the idler jet ability to change that. Also want to welcome or thank GWC, the Great White Canadian. He had a video on something with the float that I'm going to show you when I get into part 2, which I didn't know this either. So I want to thank those guys for giving me heads up on stuff that I didn't know. I'm going to pause it here, take the carburetor off, and we're going to get into it. Alright, hang on. Okay, I have the carburetor off the machine, and I'm going to show you the trick that GWC Redneck showed me the other day on one of his videos. And you take the float off, and you've got your little fuel stop band. I always get brain blocked when I try to call that thing by its proper name. It's the yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. That little metal thing. Anyway, that's there, and there's no adjustment on it whatsoever. But you may notice, see this little tab right here at the end of my finger? See how it sticks out there? Maybe you can see it there. See that little tab sticking out there? Well, what that does, when it pivots up and down, that hits on the risers that your pin goes through to hold your float on, and keeps your float from dropping down. So actually what it's doing is restricting the amount of flow that can go into the carburetor. So if you're running wide open and sucking a lot of gas, it can't keep up. So what he did was he took some cheap snips, or some, he called them Harbor Freight or Princess Auto snips or something, dollar store, and he cuts that thing off. And I'm not one to be too shy about it. about things, so poof, I just cut mine off too and it went shooting over there. You see, it's gone now. It's gone now. So there's no going backwards on that. So I'm going to take the seat out and change that emulsion tube. Or not the seat, but take the emulsion tube, put the 140 back in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the idle adjustment screw out and pull this little thing here out. That's your idle jet. I don't know how well you're being able to see what I'm pointing at, but that little plastic cup right there. When I get this screw all the way out, that will be able to come out of there. And then we're going to run that 77 drill bit through there and open that up a wee bit. Hang on. Okay, let me see if I can show you what I've done there. I unscrewed this, took it out, and then I took my screwdriver and just pried this up a little bit, and it just comes right out. See the hole there? And in the end of it there, if the light will hit it right, you'll see there's brass. Well, that's your idle jet. So I'm gonna have to put my glasses on for that. And then open this drill bit set and see how it goes here. I have to figure out how this opens. It is micro fine, man. Those things look like sewing machine needles in there. There is a hole at the top, so when you get it slid to the right position, the one you want will come out, and it's numbered along the top there, so you have each one in its own little individual spot. And I'm thinking there's probably something to hold it shut. And I don't want to break it trying to figure it out. Anyway, I'm going to do that and come back to you. It slides open. There's no catch. It's just stiff so it doesn't open. Can you see that? Can you see how fine that is? Oh my goodness. She's a tiny little wiggler. He actually, HO Motorsports actually used a micrometer. I may have to get mine out and do that too. I'll let you know as soon as I figure it out. Alright, so I ended up having to put it in my micrometer to hold it, just as he did. So I think I had to be small enough to hold it, and I just screwed it with my finger until it went on there. And it's a very tiny little adjustment. But anyway, you can see it. Slides on there. I'll make sure I get the burrs out of it and get it cleaned up. Now some of those things I've read say 18 to 20 thousandths. So I could probably go a little bigger, but I'm not going to. Because once you go bigger, you can't go back. There's a hole that goes through it sideways, and I can see the drill bit coming out through there, so I know it's going in. I'm blowed out with some air and stuff. All right, I see what I'm doing wrong here. You're not supposed to be able to see light all the way through it because the gas comes through that hole in the side and then out the jet itself, and the ports come in from the side. If you were able to see all the way through it, it would just suck air wide open. And it only goes back in here one way or the other. It's got a flat spot against it, and that keeps those holes in the side lined up. So, yeah, we're good to go. Putting that back together. I'll have to readjust my idle after I get it running again. Even though I can eyeball and get it close to where it was. It just now occurs to me that I didn't have it all the way idled down. Okay, so we got the main jet in, the 140 emulsion tube, got the idle jet bored out to 18 thousandths, and we've got that tang removed from the float bolt. Or the float itself. And all that does is allow that to drop down a little bit further. But when it goes up, it will still shut off your flow of gas. Yep. I love that taste of gas on your lips, you know? Alright, so I'm going to put this back together and we're going to test it. But before I do that, I'm going to put that little bitty drill bit back in that box before I goof around and lose it. Snug the bowl up. Put the drill bit back in its package. Shut that. Put them back away for another day. Alright, I'll button everything up and then we'll see how it goes. Alright, we got her all back together. We're going to start it up, if it will, and see how it sounds. Yes, sir. I'm impressed. I am impressed. I like the way it idles. I like the way it responds. It does sound like it's missing, but I think it's just the exhaust note. It doesn't feel like it's missing when you first start to crack the throttle and take off. It kind of sounds like it's sputtering a wee bit, but it doesn't feel like it's sputtering. I think it's just the way the exhaust sounds. I'm gonna leave it like that for a while and just give it some time to soak in and see how I like that. But I'll let you know in a future video whether or not I've changed my mind. But as for right now, I'm calling that good. So, thank you for tuning in and checking all that out. I hope it helps you out. I've definitely learned some things. Thanks to HO Motorsports, GWC Redneck, the fellow that turned me on to GWC's video. That was very helpful. Thank you. And I'm sorry I can't remember your name right now. But yeah, I like it. Overall, I like it. It seemed to all have been worth it. And did you notice how low it was idling? I didn't have to adjust it at all after I put it back together. Just luck of the draw. It sounds good, so I'm leaving it alone. Let's see how it starts with the throttle, with the choke. That is with the choke all the way off, by the way. Let's see if it starts right back up without having to do anything except kick it. That's what I'm talking about. I like it like that. Alright, you guys, we'll see you. Take care. Be good. Bye-bye. And don't forget to go get your Tufdog swag, man. Over at SCH Design. If you don't want to buy any, go look anyway. He's got a new and improved website. SCH Design. You'll see the link in the description below. Alright, you guys. I'll see you. Bye-bye. Yeah, next thing we got to do is get rid of that governor. It's just holding me back, baby, holding me back.